Okay, so hello, champions. How are y'all doing? Welcome to another segment of just sit down talks with Coach Ann. Today we have a very special guest, someone who's very special to me, one of my amazing clients, um, Dr. Cherry. now, how? Now I'm going to be formal because we're going to be formal up here.
Okay.
People need to know who you are. But before we get into the questions about nutrition, Dr. Cherry, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so we're being formal with the Dr. Cherry, but I am Carinthia. I've been knowing Andrea for a couple of years now. She's been training me, and it's been a great, awesome experience. But just a little bit about me on the professional side. I am a registered dietitian, have been for about 10 years now. So that's kind of what I do on the professional and on the work side. I work individually with clients to help them have improved their nutritional health, and I also work in my career as a program coordinator, and we develop nutrition education programs for a variety of different audiences to also help them have better nutritional health. So
Awesome. So, what exactly is a registered dietitian for those who don't know?
okay, so what you typically hear sometimes is a nutritionist, or you see a dietitian or something like that. And what I try to tell people that to compare it to is kind of like a registered nurse, but it's a registered dietitian, and we help you with your food, your nutrition, your nutrient intake, in that way. So we're like a food kind of doctor, is what we tell people.
Is there a specific demographic of people that you work with, or age group, or do you work with everyone? What's kind of like your typical clientele look like?
Typically for me, I work with anyone. So I work with little kids, with older adults, and everybody in between. Personally, I do prefer to work with women and youth, and those who might not always have had the opportunity to work with the registered dietitian, because that's what we find typically is that a lot of people don't know what a registered dietitian is. Why do I need to see one? So just kind of working with audiences who might not always have access to those same kind of professionals to help them be healthier is kind of what I like to do. But working with all age groups, 0 to 100, so and beyond.
That's awesome. Something that I thought was really cool. My mother, when she was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, her doctor actually assigned her to a registered dietitian to help her. So, is that something that you see often? Like people that have particular ailments get assigned to you?
Yeah, so especially diabetes, that's a common one. You see a lot of diabetic individuals who do have diabetes, and their doctors will refer them to a dietitian. And that's because when you think about it, you think your doctor can solve all your problems, and your doctors can give you medications and they can do a lot of different things. But one of the things that I like to tell people is that your doctor doesn't they probably take in medical school, they probably take about one nutrition course. And that's just, well, of course, they have to take. Some of them have additional classes that they choose to take, but it's not their area of focus. So, you might see a doctor for your diabetes, or you might see a podiatrist for your foot, but a dietitian is the doctor that you need to see when it comes to your nutrition and your health. So, especially with heart disease, um, diabetes, kidney disease, all of those are great opportunities for you to work with your physician, but also with a registered dietitian.
Awesome. So we have some awesome questions for you. Hopefully you come back on our little show. But we do have some questions for you that are just commonly things that we get a lot from our clients. A lot of times with trainers, we get a lot of nutrition related questions. And so it is always in our best interest to try to stay within our scope, and we try not to veer off if we don't know what we're talking about. So this is going to be just kind of like Q&A so that we can get to know some of the most common questions that are asked by our clients. Um, So right now we're in an age where there's a lot of different diets. So you have like your keto diet, your paleo, like just all these different types of diets. And some people may even call them fads or trends, and some people consider them to be lifestyle changes. Is there a particular diet or lifestyle that you recommend in your personal opinion, and why or why not?
What I'll tell anybody, and Andrea, you and I have talked about this before, is that when we talk about the different types of diets, here's the thing. You have to figure out what's going to work for you. And I like the term that you use when you say lifestyle change, because you might have an individual who decides, okay, I'm going to go keto and that's what works for me. And then they can lose 50 pounds, and then their sibling or their spouse or whoever, their best friend, can try keto and it absolutely will not work for them.
Right.
So it's all going to be about that lifestyle change and that behavior change. So I tell, if someone comes to me and says, oh, I want to do keto, okay, we can help you do that. So that's great. I want to do paleo. I want to do, I'm looking to be more plant-based. All of those are great. And all of those they work and they can be successful for that individual. But what's gonna happen is it's gonna be, what behavior change are you able to sustain? So even if you start to do keto and you're able to lose a little bit of weight, and then you're thinking, oh, I can't sustain this. This is not working for me. You might have to adapt and try something different. But whatever it is that you do, make sure that it's going to be something that works for you. So it may not work for you right now. Some people have tried keto the first time and it wasn't ready. They weren't ready for it. And so it just becomes a matter of figuring out, what can I do right now that's going to work for me, something that I can sustain. So I'm not a big proponent, or I don't promote any particular diet. I just try to help people figure out something that's going to work for them, because it's really going to be about the behavior change. And it may be little steps. It doesn't have to be a complete elimination diet. Oh, I can't eat any of this. You can try to do different things. And I always encourage people to take small steps, because small steps equal big rewards. So you have to start somewhere. You can start small, but make sure that it's something that you can do, that you can sustain, and figure out what works for you and your body and your lifestyle to be able to keep doing that and just keep showing up, because that's what champions do.
Yes, keep showing up. And I love that. Just what can you do right now? And I mean, that's like with fitness, like, people get so overwhelmed with, there's so many different trends and devices and things that you can use in your fitness journey, but it's ultimately like, what can you do? Like, what small changes can you do right now to start? So I love that.
Yeah, bite-sized pieces is what I tell, especially when you're thinking about it. It has to be a bite-sized piece. How much can I bite off of today?
Right.
Tomorrow it might be a little bit different, but it's a combination of things, and just making sure that that works for you. Small steps.
Love that. Love that so much. Okay, so then talking about a healthy plate. So I know that kind of varies based off of the different diets and lifestyles that people choose. However, is there like a particular, just a structure for what a healthy plate would look like if you just wanted to start somewhere?
So thinking about a healthy plate, and let's just say in general, what I might do is make sure that at least half of my plate is going to have fruits and vegetables on it. So that means that I'm not eating too much protein, or I'm not taking in too many of those other items that are not going to be as healthy as for you, sometimes dairy. So, but trying to make sure that half of your plate is fruits and vegetables. The other thing, if you're going to have on your plate, making sure that you're having some grains, but make those grains whole grains. So whole grains are going to be better for your body as well. So if you have a plate and you're thinking about what it looks like, one of the things that I tell people is to make their plate smaller. So that's going to be a good thing. So the larger the plate, you're going to want to fill it up. So start with a smaller plate. So you don't have to have that dinner plate as the plate that you're eating out of. You could start with a salsa or something a little bit smaller, because you're going to feel like, okay, I can eat this, and I can fill this up, and it won't be as much as if you're trying to fill up a dinner plate. So that's one little tip or technique that you can try to use. But thinking about having more fruits and vegetables on your plate, if you're going to have a protein, try to make it a lean protein. Have some whole grain on your plate as well. And also thinking about some dairy, because we do need dairy. It does have calcium and it is good for our bones. So that helps us to build some bone strength there. But thinking about making the majority of your plate, if you can make your fruits and vegetables, I think you're on the right track. Now, you do have to be a little bit careful sometimes. And let's say, for example, if you're a diabetic or something, you don't get a free-for-all with fruits and things like that. So I have to kind of put those things out there. And that's where a dietitian can be great to help you figure out if you have a medical condition. They can help you figure out, well, these are the things that I need to focus on. But essentially, the more fruits and vegetables that you're going to have up on your plate, it's going to be better for you.
Okay. I love the idea of making a smaller plate. I heard this terminology like a couple of years ago, like this guy was like, yeah, growing up, like I always needed to be a part of the clean plate club. And so like, I was like, oh my God, I was in that club too. And so, just realizing that, I mean, plates are really big. Yep. And when you look at it, like you could get like one of those smaller plates and, you surely could be satisfied with just what you put on that plate. So I love that option to just go smaller with your portion sizes.
Yeah, portion sizes have gotten so huge. And so I think we think about it just sometimes when we're out at restaurants and we think about, oh, the supersize or something like that. But we tend to do the same thing at home. And so then we have these large portions, and then we're a part of the Clean Plate Club. So we're not tracking, and it can be easy to just kind of, oh, I still have a little bit more. And we're not listening to our body and our internal signals to say, I was kind of full maybe 4 spoonfuls ago, but I just kept going because I had this food on my plate.
Right.
And then, we're raised that way, and then we don't want to be wasteful either, because we know that there are other individuals who don't have enough food. So it's just kind of managing some of that kind of mental balance, as well as how we think, and just retraining our minds and our bodies.
Yeah. I feel like you can also have too much of a good thing. Like I do have some clients that they're eating healthy, what would consider to be healthy things, but it's just the quantities are just so large. And so I like the idea of like moderation and just smaller plates and everything like that. So I like that a lot. I got a question recently about macros. Can you explain to us what is a macro?
So when people start talking about macros, basically they're talking about those macronutrients. And so your macronutrients are going to be your carbohydrates, your fats, and your proteins. And so those are the 3 classes of nutrients that our body really, really needs. So when we talk about those elimination diets, we don't want to completely eliminate carbs from our diets. We don't want to completely eliminate fat or protein, because they are all 3 very important to our health and how we build our body. So those are the 3 categories of things. So we're talking about those carbs, those fats, and those proteins. And so proteins, again, are going to be healthy for us. If we're looking at the healthier options, we're talking about those lean proteins. And there's also going to be some non-meat sources of proteins. We always think about kind of, oh, I need to eat meat, but there are non-meat sources of proteins. You can eat your beans and your yogurts, your Greek yogurts and things like that. There are plenty of options for you to consume protein without always having that meat option. Your carbs, you're going to want to make sure that for those healthier sources of carbs, like your whole grains, your whole wheats and things like that. And then thinking about our fats, fats get a bad reputation. But we do need fat in our bodies. We do. It can't. There are healthy sources of fats, and we should not eliminate all fats in our diet, because they do help to support. They provide insulation for our bodies. They do a lot of different. They insulate our organs. They do a lot of things to support us and help us be healthy. So we need fat in our body to just to do our everyday breathing, walking around, and all those things. So we need all 3 of those. But when people are going back to the question, when people are talking about those macronutrients, those are the 3 main types of nutrients that our body needs to be able to function.
Okay.
So they are very important.
Okay. And then you have people like now it's getting very trendy to like, let me count my macros and things like that. So why would one do that? And what are the benefits of doing that? Do you see any benefits?
There are definitely benefits for that, because one of the things that you can do if you see a dietitian, and now there are options, and I'm going to always support going to see a dietitian because that's, that can be very important. But when you think about when you're trying to do any weight loss or you're trying to do anything like that, it's important to you to know what percentage of macros that you're eating. And so that makes a big difference, because some people find, let's say, for example, we'll take protein. Protein is very important for you to be able to build muscle and to support your body function. So let's say you're not getting enough protein. It's going to be more difficult for your body to function and to build that muscle and to burn more fat, because that's going to be, your body is going to kind of hold on to those carbs, and so you're not going to be burning fat. So protein is a way for you to be able to do that. And so some people might not be eating enough protein. And so what you can do is look at your body type. There are calculations that a dietitian can help you do. There's online software that you can do that'll tell you, oh, well, I need to be eating about 20 to 30% of my diet needs to be coming from protein. And so there's adjustments that you can make if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to gain weight, whatever you're trying to do, or manage a medical condition. You need to limit your carbs, for example, if you are a diabetic. And so they can help you with those percentages so that you're able to have that healthier intake.
Awesome.
So that's why they're really important. And people are looking at, okay, well, this is my percentage of protein, this is my percentage of fat, because it can have it does have a impact on how healthy you are, or your intake.
Wow, I really didn't know that a dietitian could help you to determine what your macro percentage is for your specific body type. Wow.
So that's a great plug for dietitians. But I mean, I do say there are some websites, or there are some online tools that can help you do that as well. And so once you figure out, and it's going to be kind of similar to how people calculate your BMI, but there are also some other factors that go into that to tell you, okay, so this is that distribution, and typically it's going to be a range. So it's not going to be a specific number. So you try to tell people to stay within the range. For example, if they're looking at protein, it might be 20 to 30%. And so then you're talking about the different types of protein. So that's definitely a good way for you to be able to manage those numbers. But people, as you say, you hear different things, and there's trends that are happening right now, but there are things that can help you kind of be on trend if you want. A dietitian can help you be on trend in that way.
I love that. That kind of leads to our next question about body type. And does body type matter, as it relates to your weight loss journey? Some people, struggle with getting the weight off for various reasons. Does body type really matter?
It absolutely, positively, definitely does. What works for you may not work for me. And that's why we need to try to help people understand that it has to be something that is individualized. It can't be the same thing doesn't work for all of us. And so that's why you can look at it, and you can, if it did work, if the same thing worked for all of us, and all of our DNA and all of our body types were the same, we'd all be the same size, or we could all be on the same 1,500 calorie diet, and it will work for us. So there is definitely some differences, and that just speaks to how the human body operates in general. I'm different. I have a different personality. I have everything about me is different. I have a different color eyes than you. I have different hair color. So it's the same thing when you're thinking about your intake, or whatever you need to do, what amount of exercise you need to do, the amount of food. You have friends, you have individuals or family members who can eat absolutely anything.
Right.
They're not going to gain weight, or they're not going to lose weight. So I mean, so you have to think about it from that aspect, or they might have to work a little bit harder to lose weight. So it's not that you can't do it, but you have to figure out what works for your body. So it's definitely going to be some impact of how different we all are. Our DNA, our body types are going to be definitely different. And so that the same thing rings true when you're thinking about diet. So
that makes so much sense. I just remember growing up, I was super active, but the diet in our household was just terrible. And I didn't realize it was terrible until I became an adult, but it was just like juice was like a mandate. Like that was a part of the shopping list. And I didn't drink water. I didn't start drinking water until, undergrad. But it was just like, I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, why can't I lose weight? And so I realized that my metabolism wasn't as fast as some of my, cousin counterparts, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Definitely does. Now here's the fun part. So you have an amazing testimony as far as your own personal weight loss journey. I've been working with you for a couple of years now, and I mean, the other day you were doing a plank, and I was like, what in the world? Like, who is this person? So, like, tell us a little bit about your journey and what that looked like for you.
So let's see. I think it started probably around 2 years ago now, because I was almost 40. I was like, okay, I'm 39. I'm going to be 40 next year. What am I going to do? Oh gosh. So, and I was looking back through some of our messages and kind of thinking about the progress. When I started, I was over 200 pounds, and it was just like, okay, I'm turning 40. I need to do something different.
Right.
And then it wasn't just about age, but it was just about not feeling great anymore, just being sluggish and tired. And then I also have a family history of heart disease and cancer. And they are diet related conditions. So it's definitely the ones in my family. So I decided, okay, we're going to do something a little bit different. And it didn't start out to be so great, because, I turned 40 and I hadn't reached that goal that I that I had in mind. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
But as a dietitian, I was like, okay, you know what you need to be eating, but it's not just about your intake. It's all encompassing. So it's your physical health, it's your mental health. All of that came together for me at one time. So I might be a dietitian, but the exercise for me, I was not doing anything. Okay. And so I was like, okay, I need help. And so that's just kind of where I started. So when I started out, I didn't make that 40-year-old goal, that pound goal, whatever I was looking for before I turned 40. But I said, okay, we can restart. It's okay. It's okay. So been doing that now for going on, I think we're in our almost going into our third year. So really what works for me, this is what I'll say. There are a couple of things that work for me. I know that any type of weight loss that you're going to do, the biggest key, whatever diet you're on, whether you're on paleo, whatever you're doing, keto, you have to have a calorie deficit. And that basically just means you have to expend or use more calories than you take in. So you have to burn some calories, okay? And so the way that I do that, for me, it was helpful for me when I'm thinking about my diet. I'm tracking what I'm eating. So I keep a food journal or a food log that kind of helps me realize, because that's one of the biggest things. Sometimes you don't realize how much you are eating or what you're actually eating, because it's just mindless instead of being mindful. And so it's not that you're intentionally trying to sabotage yourself or do anything like that. You just don't realize what you're actually your intake is. So I kind of try to write it down, and you can do that in a variety of ways. You can take pictures, but a food log is very important. And it was very important for me as a part of my journey. And also being working out with you and having that kind of accountability and that encouragement. So having some accountability there was very important for me. But just thinking about, and just going back to what you just said a few minutes ago, I came a long way. I don't think I could do a plank at all. And it was like, those mornings were like, what am I doing here? I'm ready to quit. But it's been a great experience. And it's just, just thinking about, maybe I didn't do so well today. But tomorrow is another day and I can start over. And it's not about being perfect, and it's not about eating the right things all the time. It's not about punishing myself. It just has to be about a lifestyle change and that behavior change. And just, again, one bite at a time, one step at a time. And so here we are today.
I love that. Now we have to plug something in because they need to know this. So when we started, and I'm still trying to think back to our very first session, and I don't know. Did you tell me that you used to run track? I feel like in my head.
That is like a running joke between us. But I didn't do anything. I was like the manager for the basketball team or something. But I have no coordination to do any of that. I don't know. No, I did not run track.
Okay, that is incredible. And I feel like that needs to be, discussed, because you started like running is something that people do like their entire lives, but you literally started running at 40.
Yes.
And like the other day you ran 13 miles. Like, I mean, I was looking at my run. I was like, did she just run 13? Did she just run a half marathon on a Wednesday?
I didn't wake up with that in mind at all. It was kind of like this crazy thing. And when you sent me that message, I was like, yeah, I don't know why. It was totally unplanned. And so I did start running. And it was just, that's another thing. It's just something that I started. I was almost 40. But it's something that I started to enjoy. And so that was an easy way for me. I think I do way too much cardio at this point, but it's something that I do enjoy doing. So I continue to do that. So it can be something that you start late in life that you don't think about, something that you've never done before. And that's one of the things. I never worked out before. I wasn't a runner. I wasn't athletic in high school. I wasn't athletic as an adult. So I'm not very coordinated, but I can put 2 feet in front of one in front of the other and just kind of get, keep moving. But whatever it is that you do, just kind of, you'll see progression. And I've seen that. And I'm very, I'm proud, that I can do that now. Because that was just a couple of weeks ago that I did that whole half marathon by mistake.
I still don't understand how it was an accident. No,
my intention was really to just kind of do like 10 miles. I was like, okay. But then by mile 8, I started feeling like, oh, I can do this. And I was like, maybe I should have stopped at 10 by the time I got to 10. But then it was something inside of me that you can do it. And so I was like, wow, okay, something that you can check off. So I'm not the fastest, and I will tell anybody that. It's not about the speed for me, but it's about being able to say, I could barely run a mile or half a mile, this time last year. And so being able to see that progress and to be able to track it, it's something that I can say that I did that. And it motivates me, it motivates my son, and I can show him that, you can do whatever it is that you want to do. But it was by accident, but I did do that.
I love that so much. That is so awesome. That is super encouraging. And then my final question is, what is one tip that you would give to someone who is looking to lose weight? What's one tip you would give to someone who's looking to lose weight?
I think just finding out, take it one day at a time, and that's okay. Look for some accountability partners, because that would be great for you. Ask for help, because we all need a little bit of help, whether that's a dietitian or that's a personal trainer or whoever it is, whatever you need. There are individuals that can help you do that. But just give yourself grace. And that's what I say a lot. Give yourself grace if you don't make that goal this week or this year even. Just don't give up. And just keep trying, asking for help, and giving yourself grace are the things that I would say over and over again. Just don't give up. Don't give up.
That's awesome. Well, you heard it there, Fit Fam. Thank you so much, Dr. Cherry, for being on our show and just giving us so much knowledge that we can take with us, so many nuggets. If people want to contact you, how can they get in touch with you?
So what I'll do is I'll leave I'll give you my email address to, I am looking to work with new clients now. We can do, a consultation and have some conversation and just talk about where you are, where you would like to be, and how I can help you with that, or not. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of um, conversation to figure out where you are and what your goals are, and then you can be off and running on your own. But I'll give my email address. It is Carinthia, and that's carinthia.cherry@gmail.com. And we can set up a consultation, talk about where you are. And it's not just about weight loss. If there's some medical conditions that you need to help manage, or anything like that, that's what I'm here for.
All right. Thank you so much. So I'm going to leave her information in the description box down below so that you can contact her for all of your dietary needs, counseling, and things of that nature. Thanks again for being a part of this. And we hope to have you back. We have some other things. We have a lot of questions. This was just a little bit. So hopefully we can get you back up here. But thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and I would love to come back.
Thank you.